Hey everyone, I'm going to be making a logging winch for my tractor pretty soon, and I need a big lump of aluminum for one of the parts, which is pretty expensive. So instead of buying it, I'm going to get around to a project I've had in the works for a really long time, which is a shredder and a kiln, so that I can shred down my own aluminum, melt it down, and turn it into whatever shape I need it to be. So today I'll be making the shredder, and I have a vague idea of the design I'm going for, but there's going to be a bit of trial and error to get things working. But fundamentally, I've designed this blade, and I'll cut out probably about 40 of these, and they'll be turning into each other, and this is what will actually do the shredding. They'll be running on axles, which is just big 1.25 inch 30 mil steel bar. I'll lay those down so that they can run in these bearings. The whole thing will be driven by chain and sprockets, and the motor will be a hydraulic motor that I can hook up to my tractor so that it can have a ton of power to it. So to get things going, I'm just going to start making some of the parts so I can get things test fit together, see how it works, and make any alterations from there. I'll start by just laying down the ends of the square stock to round so that they can fit in the bearings and into the sprockets. Okay, I've got both axles turned down, and one side's longer because it'll take a sprocket also, but these basically slip onto the bearings so they can then sit parallel with each other, and they'll be turning against each other so that the blades are sucking the aluminum down and the blades will just slide onto the square bit. Next, I'll start working on the sprockets. These are a lot cheaper when you just get them with the pilot hole, but it does mean I have to machine them down to be able to fit on the axle myself. You can buy them pre-sized, but the price does jump up quite a bit. So next thing I'll do is throw these on the lathe and get them bored out to fit the axles. I'll start by using an annular cutter just to hog out the bulk of the material. And this is just slightly smaller than the eventual hole I want. I don't really trust these for precision, but it'll get me closer a lot faster than using a boring bar. And then I can just do the final precision cut right at the end. All right, so both of these are set. Now I need a third sprocket that is going to act both as a tensioner for the chain and also reroute the chain direction so that these turn in opposite directions so that they're both rolling in toward each other. So I'll have a bearing for this one and then a sprocket, and I just need to mill down a piece that can connect those two. Okay, now the last bit is to bring the actual motor into it. And this is the same motor that I'll be using for the logging winch. So this is a really powerful hydraulic motor for my tractor, and it'll be plenty of power to do this. So I'll need to take this big sprocket here and lathe it down to fit on this spindle. So that's the next thing. All the sprockets are fitted to their shafts now, so the next thing to do is to add some keyways. And these are basically two matching grooves, one on the shaft and one on the sprocket, that are square grooves, and you put a piece of square steel into, and it just locks them together so they have to spin together. So for the keyway itself, I'll be using just keyway steel. This is a medium carbon steel, and it's just going to be milled really square so that it's consistent. And then it's easy to add keyways to the shaft because I can just mill a square groove right down the center. If you were really careful with a grinder, you could probably actually even do it just with a grinder. But to get the square groove on the inside of this hole, that's much trickier. And then, so to do that, what you use is called a keyway broach. And this basically has a bunch of teeth in it that each tooth, as they go up, gets a little bit longer. So that as you push this through, it takes really thin shavings off, and as you push it through, each tooth shaves just a little bit more off, and it might take a couple passes, but eventually you'll get the square notch that is perfectly matched up to your keyway steel. I'm going to make a companion video in detail to show you how to make an internal keyway. If you want to watch it, the link will be down in the description. But in this video, I'm just going to quickly show you how I add the keyways to these sprockets and then keep going. Now to set up for the actual cutting, it's really easy. I'll just drop the bushing right into the sprocket, send the broach through, and I'll just take some cutting fluid and add that to each tooth. And there we go, that should be a deep enough keyway. Here's the key steel that'll sit in it right there. So the last thing now to do is to cut the slot on the inner piece. So roughly right there. So here's the keyway all finished. Just line them up together and insert the keyway steel. Now that all the parts are machined to size and the keyways are all cut, I can go ahead and get these all assembled together. Next, I want to make a mounting plate so that I can get these 4 pieces mounted up all together exactly where they're going to be. So first I need to start playing with the placement. To do this, I'm going to place out some pieces of wood so that I can actually physically just place these out, and I can move them around until I'm happy with the placement. I need to make sure that the 2 axles are in a good position, and then the chain path is going to work too. Once I'm roughly happy with the placement, I can use the technical drawings to get dimensions and hole placements, and I can use that to design the actual mounting plate that these will all bolt onto. I've done a drawing for the mounting plate, and now I'll just cut it out. Right, so here's the mounting plate, and I just need to do a little bit of cleanup, and then I can test mount everything. Okay, this should be ready to go, so I'll just start attaching all the parts. Okay, the placement of everything's looking pretty good. I need to make a second back plate along here and then the rest of the frame. So I'll go ahead and get those pieces cut out before I do this final assembly bit. Now I'm cutting out the second back plate, and I've just got the anvil and cannonball on the sheet of steel to keep it nice and flat against the plasma table. Here's all the pieces except for the blades, and I'm just going to go ahead and get it all test fit together. The front and back plates are doubled up like this, so it'll be really thick and sturdy. And then in the back here, some of the holes on the back plate are even deeper than the other ones, so that when I drop this bolt in, it's actually flush with the top and doesn't protrude at all. That way it won't get in the way of the blades as they're spinning. The second bolt hole for this bearing is slotted so that it can shift, and that will be a tensioner on the chain. And it's slotted here with the bigger hole in the back too, so that can slot in. It's recessed, and then this is adjustable. The back plate is doubled up again, so it's really sturdy, and then the bolt holes around the rotating blades are recessed. Okay, so this is everything placed properly. These sidewalls are going to be welded permanently onto this and then to these tabs so that the back plate can come off and then reattach just by bolting it here on these tabs. So now I'm going to get these sidewalls welded in, and that should be the frame done. Now I'll just cut off all the bolt ends flush with the nuts just to push everything back and keep anything out of the possible chainway. Now I can get the motor mounted. And I'll just lock up the bearings and the keyways now. Now that it's all together and the sprockets are all lined up, I can go ahead and fix the chain on. So I just split the chain and added a half link here, just using the basic chain breaker. Now I can pull this pin out and connect the chain. Okay, so it's a little loose and I can take as much of that out as I want with this right here. All right, now it's time to hook up the hydraulic hoses, and I'll go test it out before I put the blades on just to make sure everything's running well. Then I'll come back in, throw the blades on, and we'll see how it works. Okay, and each end gets a quick connect. All right, now we're gonna go test it. All right, that went great. It's running really smooth. Everything's in good alignment, so there's no extra friction or torque forces involved. It was right in the speed band that I was designing it for, so that turned out well. And I was able to control the power and the speed of it, both with the throttle and the hydraulic flow on the tractor. So I should be able to dial it into exactly where I want it to run once I get it going. The last thing to do is get the blades that do the actual shredding designed and cut out and installed, and then I can take it for a final test drive. Okay, I've been playing around with some different blade designs, and I think I've found one that I've settled on and I'm gonna roll with. First, I started with this really aggressive 4-blade design, and then the opposite side will have a circle that the blade runs right next to so that it can cut against something. But after cutting this out and being able to physically examine it, I decided to double the teeth and to go for a much shallower gap here. So then I moved on to this one, and the blade and circle are a lot more similar in size in this version. But then again, after having it physically in my hands to examine it, I don't think that's a great idea. So then I went all the way to the opposite and made the blade much bigger with a much smaller circle. And again, once I had it in my hands and could examine it and turn it about, I decided that that again wasn't great, so that I have ended up here in sort of a middle version between these two, and I like how it's looking. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out 30 of these, get them installed, and we'll see how it works. Really, I have no idea how well these are gonna work out. I'm just gonna have to get them installed, give them a try, and they'll either work or I'll be back to square one. But I'll go ahead and bust these out and get them installed. I'll take off the back plate, which comes off easily with just these 4 bolts. Then I'll unlock the bearings. All right, and now I just need to start stacking the blades onto the axles, alternating blade, circle, blade, circle. All right, so that's one stack done, and I'll just test fit it. There we go. Some of these might need a little bit of file cleanup, so I'll go ahead and get those done and stack them on this one, and then I'll get the whole thing installed. All right, so got them slotted together. All right, everything's looking good, and I just want to test that everything's nice and free. That is spinning really easily, and anything that gets in here is just gonna get sucked in and hopefully shredded to ribbons. So I'll get this chain back on and then go test it outside. Okay, now it's all together. I'm just gonna weigh it before I take it out to the tractor. That is 120 pounds. So 55 kilos, something like that. All right, it's all set up. What I'm gonna do is just turn the tractor on and take it really slow at first. I wanna make sure there's no binding or anything like that. I'll slowly start speeding it up once I'm nice and comfortable with this. If everything's still going well, I'll try running a couple cans through it. All right, here we go. Back to the drawing board. All right, that test was half good and half terrible. It did really shred that can into tiny little pieces, but it's also got ton of power, it bogged down and even snapped one of these bearing housings. So that's the terrible part. So I'm gonna have to replace that bearing housing. I'll pull this apart, and I think what I'm going to try to do is stacking several blades together and then several circles. So instead of alternating 1 1 1, I'll go 2 2 2 or 3 3 3. So it'll make larger chunks, but I think there'll be less forces building up, which is basically what caused the whole thing to shatter, because this was pulling so hard, these locked up, and then something had to go, and it was just this bearing housing. So hopefully reordering the blades will reduce some of that internal pressure, and we'll try it again. All right, I've got it all back together in groups of 3s, and it's spinning nice and freely again. So what I think is going to happen is I'm just going to get larger shreds, but I'm going to have a lot less forces going on inside. So hopefully I won't have the same issue as last time. So I'm just gonna get the chain back on and go back out to the tractor. All right, test number 2, same thing again. I'll start it up slow and then add a can if it looks good. All right, that was great. Now I want to try pushing it a little bit. I just quickly made this cardboard hopper so I can load it up with cans and see how it deals with that. Okay, so far the tractor's just been on idle, so now I want to throttle it up and see how it deals with the added power and speed. I'm going to run the shreds through it again to get them even smaller and better for melting down. All right, this thing is an absolute beast, and it handled everything I threw at it. I want to tinker with it a bit more, but it's 90% there. I'll add a permanent detachable hopper, and I want to add some scrapers to it, basically some little claws that go in between the gaps, and any bits that get stuck in there as it turns up, it'll scrape them out and they'll just fall through. But other than that, I'm really happy with it. This thing is awesome and super powerful. Soon I'll be working on a video of making the actual kiln that I'll use to melt down all the scrap and turn it into solid blocks of aluminum. So I think I'll call this one for now, but I'll be back soon with any further modifications I do to this one, plus the kiln build, and then we'll get to actually melting down the aluminum and casting it into blocks. And please remember, likes, subscribes, and comments really help the channel grow, and if you want to help us directly, you can do that over on Patreon. Thanks for watching, see you again soon, and take care.